Hello everyone, the final new card revealed out of Terminal World 3 for X-Saber just got revealed. This is a spell card called Saber Combination. This is a continuous spell, and I put the card effect on the screen just in case you want to read it by yourself. I think it's a lot simpler this way instead of you just going on another site to look up what the card does. While I'm doing my intro, you can just read the card so you can see what it does for yourself. I just find it really convenient this way. So X-Sabers join Constellars as the two archetypes that already have all their new cards revealed. So far we're still missing one card out of Shadal and one card out of Dragoonity. However, this video isn't about those archetypes, it's about X-Sabers. If you've been following Terminal World 3, you know by now that for sure X-Sabers have the worst cards out of all four archetypes. I would say the archetype that has the best cards so far would be Shadal, then Constellar, then Dragoonity. However, it doesn't really matter which one of those four archetypes has the best cards just because they're all pretty similar in power level. However, one thing's for sure is that X-Sabers definitely got screwed here. They for sure got the worst cards. I had very low expectations for X-Sabers after I read the first four cards revealed, but this fifth card is actually really cool and very unique. I will show you guys two combos using this new card, and it's actually pretty cool what X-Sabers can do now. The first combo is going to be a 1-card combo, and then the second combo is going to be a 2-card combo. There are also some pretty cool nuances to these combos, and I'll explain all the differences when we get there. For the first combo, you only need one X-Saber Purina in your hand. This is one of the new cards that got revealed earlier in Terminal World 3. When this card is summoned, what you can do is send it to the grave and special summon 2 X-Saber monsters from your deck. The monsters are destroyed during the end phase, but that really doesn't matter. This card also has another effect. When it's sent to the grave as synchro material for an X-Saber monster, you can apply these effects. That monster can make a second attack during each battle phase and can also attack directly. Now while the second effects are not very useful, it's just extra. What we're going to do is normal summon this card and send it to the grave to special summon X-Saber Bruno and X-Saber Garthim from our deck. X-Saber Garthim is an older monster that's all the way back from Absolute Power Force. However, X-Saber Bruno is one of the new monsters. Now Bruno has several effects and they're pretty good, but the one that we care most about is when this card is summoned. On summon, what this card will do is add a Saber spell or trap from your deck or grave to your hand. This is pretty good, but when you remember the pool of Saber cards, it's not too great. One of the best cards to search is Saber Hole. That's a really strong card because it's a counter trap for their deck. It can negate a summon of an opponent's monster while you control an X-Saber monster. There are also some other really bad cards like Saber Vault. That is one of the worst cards ever, and you should never search that card or even play it to begin with. There are other cards like Saber Reflection, which is pretty bad, but Saber Slash is pretty decent. However, one of the best cards to search for sure is the new card. This is Saber Combination, the continuous spell. Now this card has several effects, and some of them are good and some of them are pretty bad. X-Saber monsters you control gain attack equal to their defense while you have 10 or more X-Saber monsters on your field, grave, or banishment. If you special summon an X-Saber monster from your extra deck, you can special summon an X-Saber monster from your hand or deck. Finally, when your opponent monster declares an attack, you can special summon an X-Saber monster from your hand. So it's very clear to say that the second effect is by far the best one, the third effect is decent, and the first one is just bad. Unless you're an archetype like Tenpai and you have Sanguine Summoning, a card that makes all your monsters unaffected by other card effects, effects that make your monsters gain attack are just pretty irrelevant. The second effect is definitely very good though. We're going to activate Saber Combination and we're going to synchro summon. We're going to take level 3 Bruno and level 4 Garthim to summon X-Saber Gottems. This card is a level 7 synchro and it's a smaller version of the original X-Saber Gottems. This card also has several effects, but some of them are pretty mid. However, the first effect is very strong, and the reason why you're going to play this card to begin with, if this card is synchro summoned, you get to add a Saber or Gottem spell or trap from your deck to your hand. This is amazing because of one card, Gottem's Second Call. What this card does, if you control an X-Saber synchro monster, you can target 2 X-Saber monsters in your graveyard, special summon both of them. This is ignoring their summoning conditions, but you change their attack to 0 and they're also destroyed during the end phase. You also cannot conduct your battle phase the turn you activate this card. Now this card has a lot of drawbacks, but don't be mistaken, this card is broken. This is one of the best cards in the archetype. Getting 2 monsters back from the grave is really strong, and it also doesn't negate their effects, even though it doesn't really matter in this combo. Changing their attacks to 0 and destroying them and not conducting your battle phase doesn't matter here. We're already going first, so we don't get a battle phase to begin with, and changing their attack to 0 doesn't matter because most monsters are pretty weak. This is without a doubt the best card to search off X-Saber Gottems. Like I said before, the Saber spell and traps just aren't that great. Because X-Saber Gottems is a synchro, we can activate this card, so as you can see, those cards have great synergy together. We will also get the second effect of Saber Combination here because we summon an X-Saber monster from the extra deck. We're gonna special summon X-Saber Ragiera. This is another really old card. When this card is summoned, it lets you add an X-Saber monster from your grave to your hand, which is pretty good. We're gonna add X-Saber Bruno to our hand and then activate Gottem's Second Call and get back Purina and Garthim. Since Purina is a level 4 tuner, we can use that card with level 1 Ragiera to make a Naturia Beast. This is pretty nice because Naturia Beast can negate spell cards, and it can negate pretty much almost any spell card. What makes it even better is that this card is not just a once per turn negate, it can negate as many times as it wants per turn. As long as you can send 2 cards from the top of your deck to the grave, it can negate, which you're definitely going to be able to. Now there are also some other level 5 synchros you could summon, but they're not as good as Naturia Beast. There's cards like X-Saber Wayne, which are just downright bad. Now, like I said before, Bruno has several good effects. When he's in your hand, you can banish one other Earth monster from your hand, face-up field, or graveyard to special summon this card. We already used the effect to get a search, so we can't do that again, but a free summon is very nice. Bruno is also a level 3 tuner, and we have level 4 Gartham, so we can make a level 7 Synchro. There are lots of different possibilities here, so I'll explain them all. The first one you can do is make a level 7 Synchro. The best one in my opinion is Shooting Riser Dragon. Now, Shooting Riser Dragon is a really cool card. This is a Synchro tuner that can change its level. What this card does when it's Synchro summoned is sends a monster from your deck to the grave that has a lower level than this card. This card is level 7, so you get to send any monster from levels 1 to 6. What happens after is Shooting Riser Dragon loses levels based on the monster that you send to the grave. So for example, I'm gonna send Fultro to the grave here, and Shooting Riser Dragon's level 7 and Fultro is 6. That means Shooting Riser Dragon now becomes level 1. Gottems is level 7, so now we can make a level 8 Synchro, so we're gonna make Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon. This is a pretty decent route because we have Fultro in the grave, so we can get it back next turn. Another thing too is that Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon can negate a monster effect, so we have a monster and a spell negate. I know it's not the greatest thing for a one card combo having one monster negate and an unlimited amount of spell negates. However, you have to remember we're talking about X-Sabers here, so for X-Sabers standards this is pretty good. However, for another possibility, instead of sending Fultro to the grave, we can send a level 4 monster to the grave instead. Now you can make a level 10 Synchro, which can be the really bad X-Saber card, Swordmaster Soza. This card is always treated as an X-Saber card. He also gains 200 attack for each banished monster. When he destroys a monster by battle, you get to draw a card. Once per turn, when your opponent activates a card or effect, you can tribute an X-Saber monster, destroy one card they control. Also, if this card would be destroyed by battle or by card effect, you can banish an X-Saber card from your grave instead. I really cannot believe this card has 4 effects and it's still so garbage. Without a doubt, this card is just a waste of cardboard. I have no clue why anyone would play this card in their deck to begin with, but if for some reason you love Soza, you can just summon this card. The only good thing about this card is that X-Saber Gottems has a grave effect when an X-Saber monster you control is targeted for an attack. That card will bring itself back from the grave, and that's really the only useful thing about Soza. Now, a good synchro that you can summon if you're playing in the OCG or Master Duel is Baron. Baron de Fleur is without a doubt the greatest level 10 synchro monster ever made. This card can destroy a card on the field, but also is an Omni Negate as well. Then, during the standby phase, you can return this card back to the extra deck and summon a monster from your grave that's level 9 or lower. If you're able to summon Baron, you should always summon Baron. So another possibility here is by sending a level 3 monster to the grave for Shooting Riser Dragon to make a level 4, you can take the level 4 Shooting Riser Dragon and level 7 Gottems to make Psychic End Punisher. Psychic End Punisher is really good because while your life points are lower than or equal to your opponent's, the synchro summon card is unaffected by your opponent's activated effects. That's really good because this card is also really strong, so it's very hard to out. Now, if you don't want to summon Psychic End Punisher, instead you can send a level 5 to the grave off the effect of Shooting Riser Dragon to make it level 2. Now you can make a level 9 synchro, which will be Croco Dragon. This card is pretty decent. This card will get you a draw, so it will make up for the neg that you used to synchro summon this card. Also, as a quick effect, you can discard 2 cards from your hand to destroy a card on the field. Obviously not amazing, but not bad either. Now, honestly, I think synchro summoning is not really that great. Instead, what you should do with the 2 monsters is make IP Masquerena. IP Masquerena on the opponent's turn will let you quick link summon using Gottems as material. This is where you make SP Little Knight. That card will get you 2 banishes, which is a lot better than just the synchro you'll make. You have as many spell negates as you want for most cards, and you also get 2 banishes. So that is a 1 card combo, but I'll also show you guys another 2 card combo. Just a heads up though, this combo only works in the OCG or Master Duel. So for this combo, we also need Purina again, but we also have X-Saber Boggart Knight in our hand. This card is really old, all the way back in Shining Darkness. The funny thing about this card too was that this card was a sneak peek promo. It was not in the original Shining Darkness in the OCG, but this card was a TCG exclusive. Anyways, what this card can do when it's normal summoned is special summon an X-Saber monster from your hand. We're gonna normal summon Boggart Knight and then special summon Purina. Purina will get sent to the grave and will summon Bruno and Gartham again. If you're also wondering, by the way, why I keep summoning Gartham, it will make sense later in the combo. Once again, Bruno will add Saber combination, and then we're gonna activate that card and then synchro summon for X-Saber Gottems again. It's also important that you use Boggart Knight as material and not Gartham. Now the effect of Saber combination will summon Dark Soul from our deck. This is another really old X-Saber card. During the end phase of the turn when this card was sent from the field to the grave, you get to add an X-Saber monster from your deck to your hand. We're gonna add Gottem's second call to our hand and activate that card to bring back Bruno and Purina. Now the reason why this combo only works in the OCG or Master Duel is because we're gonna use Bruno and X-Saber Gottems to make Baron. Baron is incredibly important to this combo, not because it's a negate, but we need the pop effect. Once per turn, Baron can target a card on the field and destroy it. We're going to destroy our own Garthim. If you don't know what Garthim does, is when this card is destroyed by a card effect, you get to add an X-Saber monster from your deck to your hand. This is incredibly crucial because in this new wave of support, we never got a way to search X-Saber Full Troll. Full Troll for sure is the most broken main deck X-Saber monster ever created. While you have 2 X-Saber monsters on the field, you can special summon this card from your hand. Then when this card is on the field, you get to target a level 4 or lower X-Saber monster in your grave and special summon it. This is also not a hard once per turn either, because this card was made such a long time ago before that was even a thing. You could just keep looping Full Troll over and over again with other cards like X-Saber Ragigera. So because we have Dark Soul and Purina on our field, we can special summon the Full Troll. We're going to use this card's effect to bring back Bruno from the grave and use it as synchro material to make X-Saber Gottems. X-Saber Gottems is without a doubt the most stupid X-Saber synchro ever made. What this card does is you get to tribute an X-Saber monster on the field and discard a random card out of your opponent's hand. This is incredibly stupid because Handripping is just really dumb, but also this is not a once per turn, so you can just send all the X-Saber monsters on your field to the grave to rip apart your opponent's hand. Another really stupid thing is that this card can tribute itself. We have 3 X-Saber monsters on the field, so there go 3 cards out of our opponent's hand. Gottems is really stupid, and they really should have just banned this card to make good X-Saber support in the set. The cards aren't bad, but they definitely could have been better, and you can tell they were holding back because of Gottems. They don't want to make the X-Saber support as good as the Shaddoll cards, because if they did, X-Saber Gottems would be so annoying. It's very clear that they made the X-Saber support subpar on purpose. Anyways, this is pretty decent. You took out 3 cards out of your opponent's hand, and you have a Baron on the field. During the end phase of this turn, because Dark Soul was sent from the field to the grave, you get to add an X-Saber monster from your deck to your hand. There are some pretty decent cards you can add to your hand like Pashul, all because of Saber combination. When your opponent declares an attack, you can special summon an X-Saber monster from your hand. Pashul is pretty nice here because he can't be destroyed in battle. This card isn't bad, but a better card to search for sure is definitely Purina. You can special summon Purina, and because it was summoned, you can send it to the grave to summon 2 X-Saber monsters from your deck. You can get Pashul this way, and you can also get a Dark Soul, so when that card is sent to the grave, you get another search. Another thing too is when your opponent declares an attack on an X-Saber monster, you can bring back X-Saber Gottems from your grave. Obviously it's not the best thing, but it is a free monster. Also during the standby phase, you can return Baron back to the extra deck to summon Gottems from your grave. Overall, I'm gonna be honest, I was pretty disappointed at the first reveal, but this is not too bad. So the Swordmaster is awful, but the rest of the X-Saber cards they got in this set are pretty good. I honestly don't think you can complain too much considering how unplayable the deck was before. X-Saber as a deck is actually usable now. Anyways, that's it for me. This video was really long and I'm very tired. That's it for me. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Have a good one. Take care.